traffic. Gonna go deep. Has a man deep. It is caught for the touchdown.
Zach escapes pressure. Zach tucks in and runs. Zach Wilson's loose. Zach Wilson's running. He's got all day. He stays in bounds. Zach Wilson caught it. Zach Wilson gets in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? We got some breaking New York Jets news. The New York Jets have just signed Kwon Alexander, adding a linebacker to the mix of CJ Mosley, of Quincy Williams, of Hamza Nasruddin, of Jamien Sherwood, of Delshon Phillips. Welcome to the squad, Kwon Alexander. This is a player that Jets fans have been begging the Jets to sign for the past couple of months. I still don't even understand why he wasn't signed in the first place. It didn't make sense. We see Kwon Alexander on Twitter saying that he has a big decision to make. And we see him right here tweet right when the news got announced. I'm going to make you eat them words straight up. It seems like this man is upset that the league has counted him out, that there's not a lot of interest out there, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, baby. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Now, this is a player that is extremely talented, that does battle some injury problems. So that is something to be considered about, which is, I think, a big reason why he was not signed. A lot of teams were hesitant to give him a lot of money. The Jets get him on a one-year deal. But the best part about this signing is we're not signing him to be the savior of this linebacker group. We already have the leader of the squad, of the defense, in CJ Mosley. We have Quincy Williams entering year number 2 with the system. And now you add Kwon Alexander to that mix with the year 2 of Hamza Nasruddin and the year 2 of Jamien Sherwood. And all of a sudden, this linebacker unit is looking good. It's looking deep. That's what you want to see. Now, this isn't a player that, like I said, he's probably not going to be a starter for this team right out of the gate. He's going to be depth. And that's what this position needed desperately, which is why this is a big-time deal. Because outside of CJ Mosley, outside of Quincy Williams, if one of those two guys goes down with an injury, we would have been screwed. But now we have Alexander entering the New York Jets right as training camp begins, which is a really interesting situation because, number one, he has experience with this system with Robert Saleh. It's not going to be a big adjustment for him. He has a good familiarity with Robert Saleh's system, his scheme, his coaching style, which is a big reason why I'm pretty sure the Jets wanted to bring him in and why he wanted to come to the Jets. Now, this is a guy that's going to bring veteran leadership to this young defense, and this is just a really good move from the New York Jets. There's really nothing to it, nothing more than to it. This is not a move that's going to, make this defense all of a sudden top 10 in the league. No. We already have our starting linebackers. But he's somebody that can definitely prove to be a player that's going to be impactful for the squad if he stays healthy and if he's on the field this year. Because when he was in his prime, man, let's pull up his stats. I mean, we all know Kwon Alexander as a player, what he brings to the table. He's turning 28 years old next week, actually. So that's a really good age. He's like at the prime of his career right now. Well, I wouldn't say that. He kind of like passed his prime in terms of that, but he still, I think, has a lot of juice left in him. So his best performance, his best career year was in 2016, had 108 solo tackles. 2017, he played 12 games, had 70 total tackles. And then in 2019 is when he played with the San Francisco 49ers that year. And he played in 8 games. So this is a guy that has definitely been around for a long time, since 2015 with Tampa Bay. Then he went to San Francisco. Then he went to the Saints. So I feel like this is a move right here that's telling Robert Saleh and his defense that they need depth. It's that simple, man. We need depth on this roster. We have depth all over this team. And I think Jets fans understand that the only 2 positions that we're not comfortable when it comes to depth is linebackers and safety. And offensive tackle, I think we can agree as well. So I'll throw in 3. So now Joe Douglas goes out there and gets the veteran Kwon Alexander off the market. This is a really, really big move because this is a guy that can help out the development of the young players like a Jamian Sherwood, like a Hamza Nasruddin, and even help out Quincy Williams as well. So now we got the two veterans, the Pro Bowler, All-Pro, CJ Mosley, Kwon Alexander, Quincy Williams, and the two guys entering year number 2. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you're hyped up about this news, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for your boy. We got some breaking Jets news. 28 likes with 131 people tuning in. Let's go. Let's go. This is big time, baby. Again, this isn't something that's going to, take this defense over the top, but it adds a potential rotation piece to the defense. It adds experience to the locker room. It adds a guy that has a chip on his shoulder. You can tell that he has something within him, that he wants to prove a lot of his doubters wrong, that he has a lot of football left in him. And that's really what this signing tells me, that they're signing somebody that has a chip on his shoulder, signing somebody that really wants to prove a lot of the naysayers wrong. And that's exactly what this Jets defense needs, a player like that. That's going to go out there and be a high flyer, high energy, a good player that knows the system, man. This is big, especially at the position that we are really, really weak in, right? We all know as Jets fans, like I said, the safety position, the linebacker position, they're weak in terms of depth. I like the safety group in terms of, the potential. I love Jordan Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner with the vet, and the two young guys in Ashton Davis and Jason Pinnock. But outside of those four, it's a little up in the air. And then linebackers, outside of Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley, the only two guys that are depth are the year 2 guys in Nasruddin and Sherwood. So it's like, do we really want to put all of our trust in those year 2 guys in case they get hurt? So why not go get a guy in Kwon Alexander who knows the system, knows Robert Saleh, has a big chip on his shoulder, and could be a big rotational piece on this defense? That's what I'm saying, man. On a 1-year deal, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't know the details of the amount of money yet. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you've seen that. I don't know if that detail is coming out yet. But the New York Jets have officially brought in former 49er playmaker on the defense, former Saint, former Buccaneer. He's getting a 1-year deal. I'm trying to see if there's any contract info. Rich C. Kwon Alexander as a vet who can play the Sam or the Will linebacker. Already knows the system. Mosley and Williams are starters, but third spot in base defense is a question mark with Harris and Nasruddin. Jets wanted to add another vet to the mix, and now they have. That's what Rich Cimini just said. And it's so true because usually the package on defense that the New York Jets like to run is 3 cornerbacks with a nickel and Michael Carter II in the slot, DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner on the outside, with 2 linebackers being CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams, with 2 safeties and then 4 defensive linemen. But when it comes to another package, when you want 3 linebackers on the field, you're getting, who's that third guy? That's going to be Kwon Alexander, most likely. It's going to be Kwon Alexander, CJ Mosley, and Quincy Williams out there on the field together. Absolutely love that. This is a huge upgrade to what we have on this defense already. This is a player that is going to be a big-time piece to the development of this defense because they're young, they're exciting, we have a lot of upside, and we all know that it's all about the pass rush, and this defensive line on paper is looking ridiculous. So you add another player to that front 7, only good things are going to happen, baby, if he stays healthy. The NY Bully with a $10 donation. My man, I appreciate you big time, the NY Bully. Everybody give my guy, the NY Bully, some dono hype in the chat. This defense has the potential of being nasty, especially if we swing a trade for a safety like Chuck Clark. Joe Douglas is who he says he is. Let's effing go. Big Jets energy. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We appreciate the donation. You're 100% right. The defense is getting better and better as this offseason progresses. We add Jordan Whitehead. We add Sauce Gardner. We add DJ Reed. Carl Lawson is returning. It feels like that was an offseason acquisition. Vinny Curry's returning. That feels like an offseason acquisition. You add Jermaine Johnson. You add Michael Clemens. You get LaMarcus Joyner back. That feels like another acquisition. You add Pinnock to a position that he did not play last year. And then you go out there and get Kwon Alexander. All those defensive additions should definitely benefit this team because not only those guys being added on, but Michael Carter II entering year number 2 in the system. Quinnen Williams, the first time of his Jets career, in my eyes, that he's had this much talent around him to help take the load off. John Franklin Myers going into year 2 of the system, who I think is one of the most underrated, underappreciated players of this entire Jets defense. You add Solomon Thomas as well, who is a Robert Saleh guy, former top 5 pick. I mean, the Jets are doing a great job on this defense. And I don't think that this defense has, what it takes to be a top 5, top 10 unit, right? I don't want to say that's impossible, but I think we can all agree the offense stacks up a little better on paper than the defense, which is why this is such an important move for the New York Jets to make, because we suffer with injuries way too much. It's ridiculous how many times we go down. So why not add a player that is somebody that can play really good football when his name is called, someone that's not going to have to learn a brand new system, not going to have to learn a brand new coach's feel. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Everything's feeling new on this defense. Everything's feeling new. The secondary is completely revamped. You add 2 rookies to that edge rusher position. You add Solomon Thomas. You still have Quinnen. You still have John Franklin Myers. You still have Rankins. You still have Shep. You have Jonathan Marshall entering year number 2 on that D-line. You add Jacob Martin. I forgot about him. I mean, the rotation on the defensive line is scary, and that's why the Jets are going out there and getting a guy who has nothing but a chip on his shoulder. Oh, this is a great photo. I got to put this on the screen. It's a picture of Saleh and Kwon together on the sideline when Saleh was the D coordinator for San Francisco. Hold on, let's get this on the screen real quick. This is a beauty. This is a beauty. Hype in the chat, everybody. If you guys are pumped up about this move, please do not forget to hit that like button if you did not already. Here's the photo I am talking about. Here's Robert Saleh and Kwon Alexander in their San Francisco days. That's what I like to see, baby. That's our guy Saleh coaching up a player that now he just brought into the Jets. That's why I love the hire of Robert Saleh, because he's a player's coach. A lot of players want to play for him. And it's been a while since the Jets have had a coach that players actually want to play for. It's been way too long. Way too long. And the best part about this signing, guys, is we're not relying on Kwon Alexander to be the savior of this position. We're not relying on Kwon Alexander to be the guy to go up there and put up 100-plus total tackles. We're not relying on him to be the anchor of the defense at all. We have C.J. Mosley, who's coming off one of the best linebacker performances ever as a New York Jet. I think he's second in Jets history in terms of total tackles last year, even though it doesn't feel like he did anything good because of how bad the defense was as a squad. But individually speaking, C.J. Mosley balled last year. Quincy Williams showed a lot of upside. He's very raw. He has a lot of work to do, a lot of development to do in Quincy Williams. He's not a finished product by any means necessary, which is why you have to add a veteran to the mix that's about to turn 28 years old in Kwon Alexander. It's 100% worth the risk. We know he is injury prone. We know that it's not guaranteed that he even sees the field because of his injury history. But when you're the New York Jets and you're entering a season with your young quarterback entering year number 2, you have so much firepower on offense to be excited about. The playmakers around Zach Wilson's ridiculous. The offensive line is stacking up to be one of the better offensive lines I've seen since the good old days when we went to the AFC Championship back-to-back seasons. So what's missing? The defensive depth at linebacker. And this is exactly the move that needed to be happen, man. Exactly the move. This is what I'm talking about, Joe Douglas. This is what makes Joe Douglas who he is. I don't want to see any CJ Mosley slander in the chat because I'll bring up his stats right now. And it's not an opinion if CJ Mosley's good or not. It's a fact, baby. CJ Mosley's coming. He's such an underrated piece to this defense. He's the captain. He's the wise leader that really galvanizes the locker room, has so much fire within him that a lot of players want to play for him. He galvanizes everybody. He lines up everybody. He is the quarterback of that defense. Individually last year, he absolutely balled out. He did his job. The one thing that CJ is definitely not the best at is coverage over the middle. But when it comes to tackling, when it comes to play recognition, when it comes to pursuit angles, when it comes to all the other things that you need your middle linebacker to do, he's elite. Elite! Not good, not okay, elite. And CJ Mosley proved that last year. He literally was the only good player on the defense last season. Only good player. So you add in a guy in Kwon Alexander who's been on a winning football team with Robert Saleh. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes, sir. Let's move around these tweets real quick. I love how he said, I'm gonna make you eat my words, because he definitely has a little vengeance in him. But guys, we have 234 people tuning into the stream. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you did not already. If you're pumped up about Kwon Alexander joining the squad. Last year, he was a little nicked up. Only played in 8 games. But again, it's worth the risk in my eyes. You're getting a guy who's turning 28 years old, who has experience in the system, and especially at a position, it's a low risk. Low risk, high reward. Say Kwon Alexander gets hurt, and say he doesn't really impact his team. What happens? What's the negative to this, guys? I want to know. Someone in the chat, let me know how this could possibly be a negative. Because the worst scenario with this is that he goes out there and either sucks and we just don't play him because we have other guys like Quincy and CJ and Hamza Nazardine, or he doesn't play because he's hurt and he's gone. It's a 1-year deal. That's why it's like, what's there not to be happy about? You feel me? You feel me? CJ Mosley, by the way, is second all-time in total tackles in a full season for the New York Jets. I don't know what else you needed to know. 168 total tackles this man had last year. 168. He did not do that once in Baltimore. His highest tackle total in Baltimore was 132. He comes to the Jets, plays a full season, and gets 168 combined tackles, 65 assisted, and 2 sacks. Uneducated if you don't think CJ Mosley's good. His impact on this team, bro, CJ, especially adding Kwon, I don't know how else to break it down. I don't even know how else to break it down, man. And he's durable, luckily, after the first season where he couldn't get on the field after that terrible groin injury. And hey, don't forget, what did CJ Mosley do? His first ever game as a Jet. What did he do? I want everybody in the chat to let me know what CJ Mosley did before he got injured in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills in his debut. Do I need to remind you what he did in 2019 in that first game? He had a pick 6, a fumble recovery, and a sack in 1 half. 1 half. 1 half. And then unfortunately, he gets an amazing pass deflection with his back turned in the end zone, and he tears his groin up. And then we don't see CJ for 2 more seasons because he opts out next year due to COVID. And then he comes back this year in his age 29 season and puts up 168 total tackles, 103 solo tackles. And I think he's only going to get better this year, man. Coming off a career individual season, now it's up to him to really galvanize this position group and help out the team. Another thing I love about CJ is if you guys follow him on Instagram and you see what he posts, man, he makes me want to run through a wall with his stuff, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. So listen, guys, the linebacker room is definitely getting better. Definitely getting better. We did not add anybody in this offseason at this position, right? Which is why I think this is a big deal right now, because a lot of Jets fans were like, where's a linebacker in free agency? Where's a linebacker in the draft? Here it is. We finally got one, because we're before we brought in Kwon, the linebacker unit was looking the same exact as last year with CJ, Quincy, Hamza, Jamian, Delshon Phillips. Those 5 guys were on the team last year, no additions. Now you add in a guy in Kwon Alexander who has a chip on his shoulder, who's proven to be a guy that, if he's healthy, is a dog. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, baby. I am really pumped up. This came out of absolutely nowhere. I did not expect this to happen. But at the end of the day, I do follow Kwon on Twitter, and he was tweeting a lot today, saying like, this is the hardest decisions in my life. We know which decision he made. 3 hours ago, he tweeted, probably one of the hardest decisions in my life. Got to make it count. That's crazy. I wonder who he was deciding between. Because obviously he decided the Jets. And that's another cool thing, guys. We have somebody that chose the Jets. He chose it. He chose us. It's not like we went out there and offered him a lot of money and paid the Jets tax to get him. He wanted to come to the Jets. And that shows you why this team and the culture, now we cannot say it's changed yet because we have to go on the field and prove it. What I'm trying to say is, with Robert Saleh at the realm, and what Joe Douglas has proved and what he can accomplish in the offseasons as a GM, it seems like players are looking at the Jets and they want to be a part of us. You hear CJ Uzama. He was so excited to come to the Jets because of this young team, because of Zach Wilson, because of the young new core we have on this squad, because of Saleh. That's just one small example. Kwon Alexander, I don't know which teams he was negotiating with, but he decided to come to us. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Adding this guy to the mix. I like that. Listen, the linebacker unit, definitely not the best part of the team. And that's what I need to remind Jets fans here. We have to make sure that we're not ridiculous. We cannot expect every single position to be done. We cannot expect every single position to be good, right? Then we're a playoff Super Bowl team, which I think we can all agree that we're not yet. We could make the playoffs, right? We've seen teams do it. We've seen teams go from 4 wins to first place. I'm not saying that's impossible, but we are in year number 3 with this Douglas rebuild, and we're really doing a good job of building talent. And it's awesome that there's only 2 position groups that Jets fans are not comfortable with. 2. And they're both on the defense. I think Jets fans are really happy and excited about the wide receivers. The tight end position is completely revamped. Offensive line, if healthy, could be absolutely dominant. The running back room looks like the best it's been in a long time with the young guys we have there. Quarterback room, obviously we have to wait and see what Zach Wilson becomes. Defensively, cornerbacks revamped. I love Sauce. I love DJ Reed. I love Michael Carter. I love Bryce Hall. Eccles, done. The depth is there. Defensive line, ridiculously stacked. The only 2 positions that Jets fans are scratching their head about going into the season are the safeties and the linebackers. And I can argue those 2 positions are like, I don't want to say they're the least important, but I'd rather have better defensive linemen. I'd rather have better corners. I'd rather have better offensive linemen. I'd rather have a lot of positions over the linebackers and safeties because you can get away with not having the best talent in the world at those 2 positions. You feel me? So this is why this is refreshing that we have somebody that wants to come to the New York Jets. Guys, don't feed into the trolls in the chat. They feed off of your reactions, by the way. They feed off of your reactions. They love coming out here and speaking negative energy into the world. And then they have people like me and everyone in the chat going at them. It feeds them. So ignore them, right? This is a good day. This is a great day. Because we added a big-time player to a position group that is the weak link of the squad. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the best part about this, man. It's such a good move for the sole reason that it's a low-risk, high-reward. There's 0 risks involved here. 0 risks. It's a 1-year deal. Not sure the amount of money, but it is a 1-year deal. So, therefore, if Kwon stinks, if Kwon's hurt, guess what? He's gone. It's not like we just signed him to a 4-year, $15 million per year contract. We didn't do that. We did not commit to this man long term. It's a 1-year, prove-it deal for a veteran that's looking to get an opportunity to prove his worth. And I absolutely love that he's a chip on his shoulder. That's my favorite thing about this guy right here. That he's somebody that feels like everyone's doubting him. And he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the people doubting him. That's what I like to see, baby. Front seven is strong, Guillermo. Oh, yeah. 49er Media says, I see the Jets next season being the Bengals of last year. Look at that. A non-Jets fan, somebody that is not biased towards the Jets, thinking that we could be the Bengals this year. Hey, respect you. I respect you, 49er Media. It's a great name, by the way. But listen, I am really excited about what this Jets team has accomplished this offseason. I think the front office has done every single thing that they need to do in order to put a winning product on the field. Now it comes with the coaching staff. It comes with the players to really make sure that they prioritize the development and just honing in on the scheme, not being just closed-minded to the scheme, being a little open-minded to different scenarios, be good clock managers. And it just proves that the front office has done their job, man. I mean, we're getting hyped up. Like, you look around the NFL media world, you look at ESPN, you look at NFL Network, you see people talking about the Jets in a glowing light. And as Jets fans, we're not used to that. As Jets fans, we're not used to people expecting the Jets to be the Bengals this year, to be a team that can take a big-time leap. We're usually the opposite, where I personally prefer to be a team that no one's talking about, and then say we do something good, and we come out of nowhere, and it's like a big deal. Well, if we do good this season, it'll be a big deal or not to the NFL media. But what I'm trying to say is there's no denying that what the Jets have accomplished this offseason has been absolutely potentially franchise-altering with the NFL draft, with the free agency haul, with last year's draft class entering year number 2, with a potential leap in the number 2 overall pick in Zach Wilson. Like, if everything starts to click and everything's supposed to live up to what it's supposed to be, man, this Jets team could be very fun to watch. Now, again, I'm not expecting this team to take that leap and win 13 games. That's not my expectation at all. This season is all about putting a winning product on the field, being competitive week in and week out, not getting blown out, getting embarrassed by the Indianapolis Colts on prime time, not looking like a team that doesn't even know how to run routes properly, not a team that just looks totally incompetent. We need to be in every game. If we lose a game, we lose it because, something happened at the end of the game. It's not like we just look like a team that doesn't belong. You guys know what I'm trying to say here? Because we can all agree that the Jets, in recent memory, for a long time, since 2015, and then before that, since the the AFC Championship runs, this team has been atrocious. We've been a laughingstock. And that's why when you see people clowning the Jets, when you see people around the NFL world, like fan bases, clown us, saying that we stink, why the Jets this, Jets that, listen, we have to prove ourselves first. We can talk our talk, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to have a microphone to really we cannot puff our chests yet based on the offseason. We can be excited as a Jets fan base. We can be excited. Not saying we shouldn't be pumped up for the season, but my advice is be humble going into this year. Don't make it seem like we're expecting this team to just absolutely take over the league, because then that's where it'll bite us in the ass, if that makes any sense. You feel me? I really feel like this Jets team is being talked about in a glowing light around the league in a big way, and it's like, I'm not used to this. Now, are they going to be right? Or are they going to be wrong? Let's hope that they're right, because I can list 10 reasons why they could be right. And I can also list 10 reasons why they can be wrong. So, listen, man. I think that this Jets squad has a chance to be something special this year for a multitude of reasons. And this is a really big piece to the puzzle on the defense that we're missing, which was depth at that position. An impactful player immediately, plug-and-play guy, if healthy, average, above average talent, potentially even better than that if he can, tap into his old ways, which I don't see why not, right? The only thing that's going to hold him back is his injuries. He's like a year younger than CJ Mosley. So we have 2 vets at that position, with a young guy in Quincy Williams to develop and a young 2 guys in Hamza and Sherwood to develop. Like, let's go. Let's ride, baby. That's what I'm talking about. It does say something that he chose us. That's another thing, man. The stigma about nobody wants to play with the Jets, no one cares about the Jets, is slowly and surely dying down, baby. Lincoln Tomlinson leaves San Francisco, comes to the East Coast with his former coaches and his former offensive line coach in LaFleur and Saleh reuniting with them. CJ Uzomah leaving the AFC champions Cincinnati to come to the Jets. Now, Kwon Alexander was saying on Twitter today that he has a big decision to make. 4 hours later, he chooses the Jets. He chose us. Corey with the $2 super chat. Playoffs, let's go! Corey Washington, I appreciate that donation, my man. I love it. Like, there's no denying, and, like, I guess you can say that Jets fans do this every season, but I think we can all agree this feels different. You want to know why this feels different? Because we're not excited about a team of veterans, right? 2015 was a phenomenal season for the Jets, even though at the end it sucked, right? Week 17 was bad. That game could have went to the playoffs. Ryan Fitzpatrick fell apart. Well, what I'm trying to say is that year we had Brandon Marshall at the end of his prime, Eric Decker at the end of his prime, Matt Forte past his prime, Ryan Fitzpatrick as a journeyman quarterback, and a veteran defense with Revis coming back to the Jets. You know, you don't even need to name everyone on that team, but that team, you know what it lacked? It lacked youth. It lacked a future. And you guys remember, going into that 2016 season, the Jets, in terms of the offseason, going into 2016, the expectation was through the roof. First year under Todd Bowles, 10 wins. Going into year 2 with Todd Bowles, it fell apart. Want to know why it fell apart? Because they did not have a young core. It was all veterans, and they just were not able to be sustainable. And you compare that team to what we're excited about this year. The young squad is ridiculous, bro. You look at the players that we're super excited about, most of them are 23 years old or younger. That's called building an actual long-term franchise that is winning year in and year out potentially. What Joe Douglas has accomplished by trading away the players he hated and getting capital and turning them into assets of his own. Dude, trading away Leonard Williams, trading away Sam Darnold, trading away Jamal Adams, trading away Chris Herndon, all the Mike McCagnon players. Throw in Blake Cashman. I mean, those 5 guys turned into an entire draft class and a half, maybe. I mean, it literally did. We got Garrett Wilson from that. We got Elijah Vera-Tucker from that. We got Breece Hall from that trade. We got, I think Jeremy Ruckert was part of that trade. Ashton Davis. I mean, we got a lot of players in terms of those trades. So Joe Douglas is really looking like a guy that is building a team successfully, because that's what I'm trying to say. My whole point about this take is that the future of the squad is ridiculous. I'm excited for this season, but you know what gets me more excited, guys? Next season. Now, I don't want to think too far in the future right now. Obviously, we have to worry about the season in front of us, but I've said it multiple times. This year, I'm expecting a team to prove that we're heading the right direction and winning a lot of games around 6 to 9 win range. Next season, I want us to be competing for the damn division. Because if this is all coming together like we expect, if Zach Wilson takes a year 2 leap, then he takes an even bigger year 3 leap. Elijah Moore year 3, Carter year 3, AVT year 3, Becton year 4. And then the entire draft class we have now entering year 2 with Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine, Breece. I mean, you see what I'm trying to do? I don't want to think too far ahead in the future, but we're developing. We have young players on rookie contracts for the next 2 to 3 years where this window, we could shock a lot of people, man. We can shock a lot of people. This team is not even close to being finished in terms of a Super Bowl contender, and I think we all know that. And it all really hinges on Zach Wilson, right? If Zach Wilson becomes a guy that's so ridiculously good, then it really won't matter as much in terms of the talent around him, even though that will benefit for sure. But if Zach Wilson turns into a guy where he's all of a sudden a top 10 quarterback year in and year out, then this Jets team is going to be good no matter what. So it's funny because it kind of really hinges on Zach, but at the same time, it kind of hinges on the players around him. There's 10 guys in the field around Zach Wilson at all times that needs to do their job in order to really execute properly. A perfect example of this, if you guys watched Flight 2022, when Zach Wilson was breaking down film in his living room, I absolutely love this little piece of information that we got. If you guys remember week 3 against the Denver Broncos last year, the most embarrassing play I've ever seen as a Jets fan, you see 3 wide receivers running the same route over the middle. They're literally attached hip to hip. It's like they're doing, there's like 2 receivers here, 1 receiver here, and they're just crossing over the middle, and it's the most disgusting looking congested mess. And you're like, what is going on here? And, you know, that's Mike LaFleur, that's the coaches, that's the wide receivers. And then Zach Wilson got sacked, and I think he threw a bad pass and maybe got picked or something. And it was terrible looking. And then at the last game of the season against the Buffalo Bills, they ran the same exact play on 4th and 5, and it turned into a 50-yard touchdown because they executed the play properly. The wide receivers did their job. They were not running into each other. They knew their timing. Keelan Cole was not supposed to just run right away. He was supposed to hesitate at the line of scrimmage, give the other wide receivers some space, and then be a delayed route in a way. And then it opens up. Zach Wilson fires it in traffic, just an absolute beam. And then Keelan Cole catch and run for the 40-yard touchdown. That's an example of progression of the system, progression of team football, progression of an offense playing together as a unit. Does that make sense? That is why I feel like this Jets offense is going to be a lot better right out of the gate, rather than last year. It took a while for it to really get into some type of success. That's expected when you have a rookie quarterback, a rookie offensive coordinator, a rookie head coach, rookies all over the offense. Like, that's expected last year. The offense was terrible to start it off. But then when the floor goes to the booth, when Mike White and Joe Flacco gets out there when Zach is injured and Zach can take a breather, Zach can watch what it's like for a veteran to take over the system and execute at a high level. And for Zach to come back and throw 5 touchdowns and 1 interception and look like a completely different quarterback and execute this offense properly with Braxton Berrios as his number 1 option. Bro, imagine what he can do with Garrett Wilson out there and Elijah Moore and Corey Davis, who slimmed down, and Braxton coming back, and Denzel Mims as his wide receiver 5. And a revamped tight end room, and a brand new running back in Breece Hall, who's the best running back that the Jets have had talent-wise in a long time, with already a player who's extremely talented in Carter. And this offensive line looks ridiculous. So that's the offensive potential that I'm really excited about. And then you add Kwon Alexander, which is the reason why we're live right now, because he just got added to the New York Jets on a 1-year deal. This is a big-time move for so many reasons. Low risk, high reward. No reason why this is a negative, because there's nothing to be afraid about. There's nothing that should feel like, too much money. This guy stinks. He's going to lose us games. If he stinks, he won't play. If he's hurt, he won't play, obviously. We're not relying on this man to take over the defense and be the savior. The linebacker core got revamped, and now the front 7 looks mean, baby. Like, picture a front 7 of Jermaine Johnson, John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, Kwon Alexander, CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams. Those are hitters, bro. Those are hitters. That's a front 7 coming after the quarterback, bro. And then you have Sauce locking down his side of the field with Jordan Whitehead being that quarterback spy, with DJ Reed locking down the right side, and either Pinnock or Joyner being that free roam safety. Dude, the defense has a lot of talent. Now, listen, the unfortunate part about sports is injuries. We know that injuries are going to happen. It's inevitable. Sorry, guys. It's going to happen. Hopefully, it's nothing serious where it's just, nagging stuff like day to day, week by week when the season comes around. But I cannot stress enough how important depth is, which is why I hear some people ask, like, Richie, should the Jets trade away Bryce Hall? No. Why do they trade Bryce Hall? What's wrong with depth? Hello? We trade away Bryce Hall and then DJ Reed goes down. You know what I mean? Bryce Hall's there for a reason. Just an example. Richie, should we trade away Denzel Mims? He's wide receiver 5. Why do we need him? Because what if Corey Davis goes down? You need someone to step in there. You feel me? So depth is extremely important, and Kwon Alexander is a guy that's going to add depth to this position because he can play the Mike, he can play the Sam. He's versatile at this position. He doesn't have to learn a brand new system. He doesn't have to learn brand new verbiage. He doesn't have to learn a brand new coaching style. It's all there. You see Saleh right here with him on the sideline. Gizmo with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate the donation. Looking at our first 6 games, what teams do you think we're better than? Listen, man, I can't sit here with a straight face and tell you that we're better than teams yet, because we're just basing this Jets team on potential and upside. But, the Ravens, we're not better than them on paper. The Browns, right? I mean, the Browns are pretty stacked, I would say, on their entire roster. But Deshaun Watson's not going to be playing. So I think that we have an edge over the Browns, for sure. But the Browns, they got Myles Garrett. They got a dominant offensive line. They got a great running back tandem. They got weapons. They got a pretty underrated defense. So the Browns are no team to sleep on. But, of course, with Deshaun Watson not playing, that is definitely a winnable game. Week number 3 against the Bengals, we're better than the Bengals. We beat them last year, right? Right? Now, obviously, listen, we could beat the Bengals again. We proved to do it once. Why not do it twice? Bryce Hall and Brendan Eccles, both of them shut down Jamar Chase that game, which was great to see. Week 4 against the Steelers, Mitch Trubisky, I'm not really afraid of him. But the Steelers, I think their defense is better than the Jets. Offensively speaking, I think we might have an edge over the Steelers. We have a better O-line than them now. Najee Harris is a beast, but I like Breece Hall. They're wide receivers. They're deep, but I like ours too. So I think we match up well against the Steelers. I would say we're better than them on paper. And then the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins absolutely revamped their entire squad in the offseason, adding Tyreek Hill, of course, and doing all those things. This is a team that we have to beat week number 5. I think it's even right now. I can't sit here and say that we're better than the Dolphins after they won 9 games last year. We won 4. So it's I try to be not delusional right now. If you guys want me to say we're better than everybody and just be a Jets YouTuber that's just delusional and biased towards the Jets team, that's just not who I am. I try to look at it at a practical perspective. So I don't think we're better than the Dolphins yet on paper, but I still think we stack up well against them. I think we could have beat them at least once last year. Both of those games we should have won. We had so many opportunities wasted last year, but I definitely think we have every single chance to beat them. I'm not afraid of Tua at all, to be honest with you. I'm afraid of the Dolphins in terms of their weapons and their defense. Yeah, I feel like the Jets really stack up well against these teams. And who do you have week 6? Packers? I don't know. All right, Gizmo, I appreciate the donation, my man. Let's go, baby. This is a great move for the New York Jets for many reasons, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat right now. What's your thoughts on Kwon Alexander being signed by the New York Jets? Is this a player that you're excited about? Do you think he's going to have a big-time impact on the squad right out of the gate? Is he a player that's probably not going to be playing a lot? Is he going to be part of the rotation? Is he going to be starting next to CJ and Quincy Williams? Is he going to be playing the Mike? Is he going to be playing Sam? What type of impact will he have on the squad? JD liked it. I like it. The cool thing about this, guys, again, is Kwon Alexander chose the Jets. He's like, you know what? I'm going to choose the Jets. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We need depth. We need guys that have experience. And why not add a player like Kwon Alexander to the mix? You feel? Listen, man, low risk, high reward. That's why it's why is there any type of negative feedback on this? Listen, man, this Jets team has lots of fun things to talk about. Oh my goodness. I wish The season can start already. Anybody going to training camp Saturday, by the way? I'll be there. I'll be there. All right, guys. So I think I've ranted enough about how pumped up I am about this signing. If you guys want to comment down below your thoughts after the stream's wrapped up, that'll be greatly appreciated. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap up the stream here, guys. If you did not already hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate that. We have 161 likes with 260 people tuning in. So please, on your way out, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. So we get as many Jets fans and NFL fans in here on the stream. How about Jimmy G to the Jets? Nah, man, we got Joe Flacco and Mike White. I love our quarterback room. Listen, it's impossible for us to have a Jets team that we are comfortable in every single position. If that was the case, we're going to the Super Bowl. If we had a franchise that is good at every single position, then we should be a perennial playoff team. So don't be too concerned if linebackers and safeties are the weak link of your squad if all the other positions we're excited about. That's really my takeaway. That's why I'm not stressing out too much about the safeties and the linebackers, because we have to remember where this team was 5 years ago or like 3 years ago. I mean, we had like the only bright spot of that team was what? The defensive line. And we couldn't even get to the quarterback those years. We should just stop the run at a high clip. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning into the stream. We're going to wrap things up here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I love you all. Smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. Of course, Jets Media is out. Welcome to the New York Jets, Kwon Alexander. I'm pumped up. You should be pumped up too. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.